Today, we're going to peek inside the world of some seriously high-tech medical instruments. We're going to explore the incredible tech that helps doctors see into one of the most complex and, most delicate parts of the human body, the eye.
Okay, so let's just jump right into the big question. Think about this for a second. This is the fundamental challenge that ophthalmologists face, like every single day. How in the world do you get a clear look inside a living, moving, light-sensitive organ that's smaller than a golf ball? It's this amazing puzzle of optics, biology, and pure engineering.
And it's so important because the eye, well, it isn't just for seeing. For a doctor, it's a direct window into your overall health. I mean, blood vessels, nerves, they're all right there, out in the open. But actually getting a good look, that's where things get incredibly tricky.
And when you break down the challenge, it's just fascinating. Doctors are trying to work inside this tiny enclosed sphere that's literally designed to react to the slightest change in light. It's pitch black in there, and to top it all off, every single person's eye is completely unique. It's just a massive technical mountain to climb.
And this whole challenge is becoming more and more critical. As our societies change, the demand for really good eye care is just skyrocketing. We're seeing more myopia, nearsightedness, which makes sense with all the screen time we're all getting. And at the same time, as populations get older, so do the age-related conditions of the eye. So the bottom line is pretty simple. We need better diagnostic tools now more than ever.
So what are doctors on the front lines actually asking for? Well, they say it pretty plainly. They need tools that are brighter, that give them a much wider view inside the eye, and honestly, are just easier to use when they're under pressure. And this feedback, this is where our story about a company called Neitz really begins. See, to really get what Neitz is all about, you don't start by looking at their products. Nope, you have to start with their philosophy. And that philosophy, it's all about one thing: listening. Ever since 1965, their entire way of doing things has been built on this foundation. They just listen, really listen, to the needs coming straight from the medical field, and then they pour all their engineering know-how into solving those exact problems. It's a totally user-centric way of thinking.
And look, I know that can sound like a slick marketing line, but for them, it's literally their founding mission. The goal is never to just sell instruments. It's always been to create tools that genuinely push medicine forward.
And you can see this whole philosophy in action with their surgical loupes. Those magnifying glasses that surgeons wear? The process isn't one size fits all. A surgeon literally custom builds their own tools step by step. They pick the exact magnification they need, the frame that fits them perfectly, the right lighting, and can even add a high-def camera. It's a solution that's built for a doctor with a doctor.
Okay, so now let's see how this listening-first philosophy actually turns into real technology. This commitment led to some huge breakthroughs, especially when it comes to the most fundamental tool in ophthalmology: light itself.
Right, so here's the core dilemma. To see inside the eye, you need a bright light. But a bright light makes the pupils shrink and can be really uncomfortable for the patient. Plus, and this is a big one, it creates a massive amount of glare reflecting off the front of the eye, the cornea. So Neitz decided to attack this with a two-part solution. First up, they just engineered a better light source. Their LEDs are specifically designed to be easier on the patient's eye. They do this by cutting back on that harsh blue light. They also cleverly mimic the color temperature of older halogen bulbs, which is what doctors have been trained on for decades, so it gives them a view that feels more natural. And from a technical standpoint, they're just flat out better. No more filament shadow means a perfectly clean spot of light, and a 50,000-hour lifespan, that's just incredible reliability. The second part of the solution, well, it's just pure optical genius. To get rid of that nasty glare problem, they use a system of polarizing filters. It's kind of like having the world's most advanced pair of polarized sunglasses built right into the instrument. This system basically cancels out that corneal reflection, letting the doctors see through the glare to the back of the eye, the fundus, with just stunning clarity. So Neitz perfected the view for one doctor. That's amazing, but what happens when that one single view needs to be shared? Well, this brings us to the next evolution of the problem. The world, as we all know, fundamentally changed back in 2020. All of a sudden, the need for remote collaboration, for virtual teaching, and for digital records wasn't just a nice-to-have, it was urgent. This new normal, as Neitz puts it, demanded a whole new type of tool.
And the impact here was just transformative. Think about it. Traditionally, an eye exam was a one-to-one thing. What the doctor saw, only the doctor saw. The digital solution completely flips that on its head. It lets the doctor's unique perspective be captured and shared with anyone, anywhere, in real time. It's a game changer. They pulled this off by developing the world's smallest and lightest HD camera systems that attach right onto their existing instruments, so it's not some bulky separate piece of equipment, it integrates perfectly. A super high-sensitivity sensor means it works even in the low-light conditions of an exam, and really simple software makes it a breeze to record and share everything.
And a technology like this just opens up a whole world of new possibilities. For medical students, it's absolutely revolutionary. They can finally see exactly what their professor is seeing. For collaboration, doctors on opposite sides of the planet can consult on a tricky case. And for patients, it lets a doctor literally show them what's going on inside their own eye, which just massively improves their understanding and their care.
So let's zoom out for a second. We've gone from a philosophy of listening to innovating light to enabling this shared digital view. So what's the ultimate result of all of this? Well, it's a truly global vision.
Today, Neitz instruments are trusted and used in over 70 countries. And that number? It isn't just about sales. It's a direct measure of the trust they've earned from medical professionals all across the globe.
Their whole promise really rests on 3 core pillars. First, there's an uncompromising quality, which is rooted in that meticulous, made-in-Japan craftsmanship. Second, there's that core philosophy we talked about, of always listening to the real needs of doctors. And finally, a responsive global support system to make sure these vital tools are always up and running.
And this all brings us to their ultimate goal. It's not just about making instruments. It's about becoming the trusted, reliable eyes for doctors, for surgeons, and for healthcare providers all over the world.
It's really an incredible story of innovation that's driven by empathy. And it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. We have just seen how technology has opened up this perfectly clear window into the human eye. So, what's next? What other invisible worlds, hidden right in front of us, will the next generation of tools finally allow us to see?